Destined to Parent a Problem Child by One Zuku Ku on AO3. Read by Lily6645. This author has chosen not to use archive warnings. Summary. Shota Aizawa was confused. Taking on another vigilante case wasn't new for him. He's an underground hero after all. No, the situation wasn't new at all. That was true for 3 more days. Why was every instinct in Shota's body screaming at him to protect this vigilante? Shota didn't currently have time to sort through his thoughts, but he was going to figure everything about this suddenly odd case out. Chapter 1. Shota Aizawa was confused. Around 3 days ago, Shota was asked by Tsukachi to keep an eye out for a vigilante by the name of Orizu. At the time, he had taken the file offered to him with hesitation because it wasn't uncommon for him to be asked to assist in vigilante cases. Being an underground hero and all, when he viewed the file given to him then, he didn't feel any different than normal. A quick look at the blurry photos they had, Shota was looking at what was hopefully just a very short adult, donning a baggy black hoodie, black jeans, leather gloves, and dark green mask that covered only the upper half of their face, and obnoxious bright red shoes. The information in the file was close to nothing. Apparently they were good at covering their tracks. The information was limited too. Estimated age, 18 to 21. Possible sex, female. Established height, 5'0" plus. Quirk, manipulation of air, ? Eye color, green. Yeah, the information here was not helpful. Save for the bit of their quirk that Shota now knew. He felt a bit better knowing there was something to erase. Going forward, nobody on the case had heard of or made contact with the vigilante. That had remained true for 3 days or so until now. Now, Shota Aizawa was looking straight at the infamous vigilante. The person in question was looking right back at him like a deer in headlights. He seemed to have just taken down a criminal. If the bloodied knife in the unconscious man's hand was anything to go by. And seeing as Orizu had no obvious injuries, yeah, Shota's description of Orizu had been accurate, but he himself was also frozen in place. Everything in him screamed to protect, which Shota did not understand because he was face to face with a criminal. For fuck's sake, why isn't his body telling him to capture? Why can he feel in his very bones that he should protect this person? While Shota would love nothing more than to be able to stop and figure out what the hell is happening to him, he had info to gather, and hopefully the target as well. So, he began, unsure of what to actually say. How old are you? The question seemed to snap the vigilante back into the present, as they twitched in realization before springing into action, their quirk making that what seemed to be a barrier around them. And weirdly enough, the heat was also sucked from the air. Had Shota not constantly worn a costume suited for winter, He's sure he'd be shivering right now.
Relax. I just want a talk, see?
Shota said, dropping his hands down by his side and away from his capture weapon. This seemed to be the only option his body allowed him, willing him to not lift a finger against the vigilante.
So, was my question too sensitive, or do you just not want to talk?
He asked cautiously, not wanting to scare them away. The silence stretched on for a few more moments, and just as Shota thought he wasn't going to get an answer, a wary voice, one that sounded to be male and scarily similar to a teenager's, started. I'm 16, Mr. Eraserhead. Shota's worst fears had been confirmed. He was a teenager. He was a teenager who turned to vigilantism to do the job of a hero, or that's what he supposed the motivation behind the kid's actions were. In his shock at learning how young the boy was, Shota almost missed that the boy knew who he was. Startled, he asked out of instinct.
You know who I am?
His face blatantly displaying both his surprise and unease. The vigilante knew who he was. That also meant he, no doubt, knew his fighting style and possibly his quirk too. In answer to his question, the boy shyly nodded before asking a question Shota wished he could answer. Why are you not trying to capture me? Or use your quirk on me? He finished, and Shota could hear the unease in his voice, no doubt waiting for the storm after the calm. Although Shota knew he hadn't tried to make a move because every instinct in him wouldn't stop screaming to protect this kid, he answered,
As much as I'd like to say that what you're doing is horrible and wrong, you haven't hurt a civilian or any heroes. Not that we've noticed, at least.
He paused, gauging the kid's reaction. When he got nothing, he continued.
Capturing you is not my biggest priority right now, as wrong as that sounds. My biggest priority right now is to have a conversation with you, and I'm sure you can guess what that entails.
He finished, seeing if the kid would respond to his long explanation. You're gathering information on me, the kid stated, his observation out loud, and Shota was surprised to see that he wasn't as tense as he thought he'd be as he did so.
Correct. Yes,
Shota said, and the words fell awkwardly as they left his mouth. Not quite knowing what else to say, he cleared his throat before beginning again.
So, can you tell me your name?
The kid visibly tensed as he asked this. Shota knew that even hoping for an answer was a long shot, but he wanted to try anyways. The answer he received dashed those hopes quickly. Orizu.
Your legal name, Shota clarified.
What makes you think that's not my legal name?
Because, based on the very limited information we have on you, you're undoubtedly smart. And someone smart wouldn't use their legal name in vigilantism.
Shota kept the thought that the name sounded a bit feminine and unlikely to be a boy's legal name to himself. Okay, fine. It's not my legal name, but I'm also not stupid enough to give you my real name. You said it yourself. I'm smart.
The boy finished. Yeah, he did say that, didn't he? Hearing it repeated from the boy's mouth in such a triumphant manner was a bit shocking, though. The kid didn't seem entirely uncomfortable at the moment, despite standing next to evidence of his very illegal activities in front of the man which he knew was a pro-hero. Maybe it was crazy wishful thinking, but could the kid be in the same situation as Shota currently is? Though Aizawa expected the kid's instincts were screaming at him to stay put rather than run from him. Could it be a soul bond? No, absolutely not. Parental soul bonds were almost unheard of. Estimated only 10% of the world's population had them, right? No chance that he was a part of that 10%. Totally not, right? Shota didn't want to think about how if it was a soul bond, it's probably because the kid's past guardians were, in what could be numerous ways, unfit. While Shota had been deep in thought, he hadn't noticed the kid bouncing off what looked to be air trampolines up and towards the rooftops. Cursing under his breath, his hand immediately went to his capture weapon and shot it towards the kid, aiming for his wrist, but catching on the hood of the kid's hoodie instead, pulling it down as he tugged back so he got a glimpse of dark, fluffy hair, a color he couldn't quite make out in the dark before his capture weapon was coming back towards him without the target. The kid escaped. A 16-year-old vigilante had outsmarted a 31-year-old pro. Arriving home from patrol that night with close to nothing going his way, he was relieved to have his husband, Hazashi, there to wordlessly offer Shota his support with a sleepy, "Welcome home," and open arms inviting Shota to join him in bed. Breakfast the next morning was chaotic. That is the end of Chapter 1 of Destined to Parent a Problem Child by One Zuku-ku on AO3. If you like this, please go support the original author, link in the description below. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, kittens!